Howdy everybody, welcome to Uncharted 4 multiplayer, and welcome back to Dream Trashed. I just finished Uncharted 4 for the first time last night at about 1:30 in the morning, so I thought I'd make this video because this is pretty much, this video that you're watching here is only the second game I've ever played in an Uncharted multiplayer game. And I love the series. I love it as just a single-player game. I think it's one of the best series of all time, and I know there's plenty of people who will agree with me and plenty of people who will not agree with me, but that's okay. That's why we have opinions. But what I want to talk about is why I feel that the Uncharted series is the pinnacle of the cinematic movie-going experience. Why it works so well, and why it has been so successful. I think we can look at this game series, and see some very important things. Number one, they casted everyone to a T. Every voice actor in this game, I think, is amazing. From our hero and our protagonist, Nathan Drake, aka Nolan North, and from on down. Sully, Elena, Cutter, the villains, Nadine, everyone in this game in this series did a fantastic job. And what I like about this game is that you can tell, what I like about this series overall is that you can tell everyone worked hard and put their heart and soul into this game, and I think that they loved, I feel it's obvious that they loved putting this game together, putting the series together. And I think what we can see why this game was successful. We can see why it was one of the most successful game franchises of all time, because it takes its inspiration from previous games like Tomb Raider. It takes its inspiration from Indiana Jones, who Steven Spielberg and George Lucas took their inspiration from the 30s adventure serials of Hollywood, you know, those early movies where you've got kind of just a drive for a sense of wonder, a sense of adventure, a sense of danger. We have all that here. We have all the elements of an amazing movie-going experience. We have all the elements of a great action adventure. And that's why I don't think we need an Uncharted movie. We don't want one, we don't need one. I personally I'm in that camp. I don't want an Uncharted movie. I think I remember hearing long ago that it was Jake Gyllenhaal and then it was Mark Wahlberg, and I'm just like, no, it's whoever that is, whoever they get to play Nathan Drake is not going to be Nolan North. It's just going to be too weird. And I know that's not really oh, who's going to be the next James Bond? It's so I don't like the new James Bond because he's not the old James Bond. No, it really is just, you don't need an Uncharted movie because, and I think Nolan North himself said this, because the game is the movie. Because in the last 20 years, games they've moved towards more cutscenes, more voice acting, more original music, more actual music, you know, from just MIDI, BGM music to real instruments. When we got into the CD compact disc age of the PlayStation, when a Final Fantasy game could have a composer composing with an entire symphony. And that's what I love about this series, is because it does so well. It does everything so well, from the voice acting, to the story, to the set pieces, to the action, to the gameplay elements, to the shoddy, sometimes kind of crappy AI of the villains and the bad guys, the enemies. There's so much to love about this series, and I think so little to dislike about it. It's obvious to me why it's successful, why I think it's the pinnacle of the cinematic video gaming experience, because it really is. It's like you've read an amazing novel, you're invested heavily emotionally into this story, into the characters, into their lives, into how they interact, what they do, the choices they make, It's as if you sat down and read a great novel, or you watched an amazing TV series that you spent years on, um, watching every single week, Tuesday night at 7 o'clock or whatever. It's like any great film that you sit down and you spend 2 hours or an hour and a half and you just fall in love with. And you come away with a real, with real, having had experienced something real and something you can relate to, something you can sympathize with, something that you can become emotionally invested in. And that's what I loved about this series, was it wasn't just an action game, it wasn't just a run and gun, it was the story, it was the love story, it was Nathan and Elena, it was the friendships between Sullivan and Nathan, it was the frenemies that we had in this series. And I think you'll know, if you remember, if you think back of who the villains of this game have been, there have been some good frenemies. But that's why I just think we don't need a movie. We don't even need more games. There might be. We've already got our spin-off just this past fall, and I think it's more power to them if they want to make more. But I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I can't think of a series that I think wrapped up. I mean, the series just wrapped up great. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think the ending of every single game was good, and I think the ending of the series as a whole was very, very enjoyable and very satisfying. And that's why I think we don't need a movie. You just need to sit down and play the game. And if you haven't played one of the games in a while, replay it. But that's it, guys. That's how I feel, and that's why I think Uncharted is amazing, and that's why, if you haven't played it, I think you should. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We will check you next time. Thanks. Bye.